Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers. My name is Lara and we're here at Bite Me Burger in DIFC. Now joining me this morning is a very, very special guest, and of course we're talking about none other than Hanane Benkhallouk, the Executive Director for Sustained Leadership. Hello and a very warm welcome. How are you doing,
I'm
Hanane?
good, thank you. Thank you for having me. Really
It's such a pleasure to have you with us this morning on the show. Hanane, tell us a little bit more about your background, where you're originally from, how long have you been in the region, and what are the different activities that you're involved in?
Absolutely. Well, the way I like to introduce myself is that I was made in Casablanca, Morocco. I was shaped in New York City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I've been thriving in Dubai for 15 years. So my career path really included, when I went to New York for my studies, it was never a plan to stay, but I just liked the pace of New York and I continued. So I started my career there after finishing my MBA. And I worked in finance, in franchise development, retail, very diverse background. And then a coincidence brought me to Dubai. I was just visiting my sister who lives here, and I received an offer. And she told me, it's sunny, you're sick of the cold winter, why don't you try it? And that's 15 years. So for me, it was just like, okay, let me try it. That was in 2005. And I started working here for a diversified group, a large Emirati diversified group. I was director of operations for a couple of their franchises. And then I was called by the executive office of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum to be part of a project that was just started in 2007, which is now, when it was launched in 2007, is Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Foundation for Knowledge. And I was lucky enough to have the position of programs manager for innovation and entrepreneurship across the Arab world. And that's where really my connection to wanting to develop human capital, wanting to create more opportunities for entrepreneurship so that we become a nation as Arabs that create value. So we stop importing and then we really defy that gap of skills that we have, because in our schools, and that was proven by study that was also in charge of at the foundation, that is called the Arab Human Capital Challenge. That study is still available. It was launched in 2009, and it surveyed more than 6,000 C-level executives across 18 Arab countries and more than 16 different industries. And the results, to summarize it, just showed that there is a big gap between the education system, or what the kids, or what we learn in most of our educational institutions in the Arab world, and the competencies needed for the workplace. And having been exposed to this tough reality, it was like a wake-up call for me. And I think that was a shift that happened, and I said, do I want to live a life where I'm just working for somebody, making handsome salary, or living a good life, or do I really want to live a legacy? And then I chose that I want to be part, not of the people who identify the problems, that's what it started, by the study, but I want to be part of the solution. That's how Sustained Leadership came to life. And Sustained Leadership Consultancy is a boutique consultancy focused on leadership, strategy, but really building human-centric organization, meaning helping businesses and business leaders to create conducive environments for their people to be motivated, to be engaged, because that's the only way we can sustain business. That's why it's called Sustained Leadership. How can we sustain the leadership? And my focus is on the Arab region. How can we have sustainable nationalization strategies rather than using just quotas to have the locals of the countries be part of the private sector, for example. So it's all this focus is on really finding the solutions, and that's why our slogan is driving positive impact in business and society.
I saw that. That's beautiful.
So it's really about, we don't have to be charity to really create positive impact. We can create business models that within their business model, they have a social impact. They take care of the society and they create sustainable results. So we work with governments, with startups. I'm known also as somebody who works and mentors entrepreneurs. I work with the Emirates Foundation, Abu Dhabi, many incubators here like the Impact Hub, Interlock, which is by Emirates Airlines, the Dubai Technology Entrepreneurship Centers, and others in Abu Dhabi and Saudi. But the biggest focus that is close to my heart is really female talent development, because I believe that we in the Arab world have such power in our female talent, especially that for the past 10 years, the graduates female graduates are outnumbering, I mean university graduates, the females are outnumbering the males.
That's true.
That's a huge pool of talent. And if you are a business leader, have a company, and you don't have a strategy or an environment that will attract females or give them that flexibility, whatever they need to thrive as who they are, then you'll be missing out on very growing, emerging talent pool. It won't be a choice. That's why when I talk about this issue of female talent advancement, and I don't use the word empowerment because I find it a bit condescending.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
Empower means we're waiting for somebody to
empower us.
Yes,
when we're naturally empowered.
So to me, it's really about creating those opportunities, and that's what we help as well. We work on, we call it balance, gender balance. We need balanced societies. We need balanced work environment. We need balance because diversity promotes innovation. So it's not a cause. It's really a business case for innovation. It's good for business. And that's the mentality and the mind shift that we're trying to work on. And very soon, I'd love to talk to you about that. We'll be launching an initiative called Terran in Arabic, which means balance in Arabic, and it's in it together. It's about, I think it will be the first think tank at least in the region that will be engaging men in the discussion, because I have been running many initiatives such as the Lean In. Lean In is a global organization for women that was launched by the CEO of Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg.
That's right, I've heard of it.
Yes, so I happen to have co-founded with another partner the first Lean In circle in the GCC, or actually in the Middle East. I call it Lean In Arabia, and it's been ongoing for 6 years. So it's a safe space for women to talk about their challenges. And just like this space, this one is linked to a global organization, but we have a lot of initiatives. And through these, for the past 10 years, I would say, I listen to what women talk about, and I also happen to listen to men at the workplace or that I work with, and I feel that we can't just keep sitting in closed rooms as women. It's our problem, and we're trying to solve it. Decision makers, whether we like it or not, are still in majority men. So it's time that we engage them in the discussion. It's time that we stop looking at it as a competition. It's time we stopped calling for equality, but rather balance, because why do I want to be equal to a man? Maybe I want to be better. Maybe I can be better.
Why not?
I am a citizen, a human being, an individual with my own choices, and I want my full rights without having to compare them that I just want to be equal to a man. And if we change this narrative, even men won't feel attacked anymore. That together we want to find a way to create balance, because everybody benefits from it.
Absolutely.
So I'm a big advocate of that, and I hope to succeed in it.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you'll have a lot of supporters and a lot of followers when it comes to that. For sure.
So yeah, that's basically in a nutshell what I do. I'm very active.
Extremely active. Yeah. Especially, I would say, in the successful female entrepreneurship world.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, being a successful female entrepreneur such as yourself, Hanane, what would you say has been the greatest obstacle that you faced? I think just like all female entrepreneurs across the world, being taken seriously so it's still, you feel that you have to work double to prove yourself, and that's the biggest challenge, and it's proven up to date. A lot of female entrepreneurs still don't receive equal opportunities for financing, for example, and that's not just in emerging markets, even in Western markets. They still don't have, it's still below the 2-digit number, the female CEOs or the female entrepreneurs that receive support from venture capitalists. So I think there's still that stereotype that women might, because probably they're not supposed to be the breadwinner, so they won't be very serious or committed. I feel that that's an unconscious bias that a lot of people still have, that she might give up once she start having a kid. Exactly.
And I think that's a lot of it just goes back to that lack of confidence that women would be as committed as men, because naturally
we give birth. The maternity factor.
Exactly.
I think they always use that as an obstacle.
Yes.
When it comes to females out there. What message does Hanane have for the viewers, the female successful entrepreneurs out there, or the female entrepreneurs that are starting up in general? What message do you have for them? What would you say to them?
The only limits are the limits in your head. So yeah, and I just co-authored a book with a number of authors. It's called Your Dose of Motivation.
Your Dose
of Motivation.
I love the title.
Yeah, and it has stories, really inspiring stories of 18 authors, and I'm one of them. And it's really telling the story and how we really made it happen, how we made our success, if you will, happen. The end of the success is relative, and everybody defines it their own way. And mine talked about the 3 Ps. These are my 3 Ps, my values, and my drivers that really drove my success. And
could you share those 3 Ps with us?
It's passion, because once you're passionate about something, when you're driven, as cliche as it might sound, but trust me, it's still the magic word.
It's so true. I can guarantee that.
When you are passionate about something, no challenges and no limits will come into way. That's why I always advise whoever wants to start a business or a new idea, look for something that you love doing. Because if you're not really beyond passion, I'll say obsession. If you're not really obsessed about making something happen, if the business that you want to start is not linked to a deep purpose beyond making the money, beyond being financially independent, you might stumble or fall. But when it's passion that's driving you, you always find a way. Second piece, proactivity, because once you find passion, fine, you find it, but nobody's going to come and give you what you want. So you have to knock doors. You have to take that first step. You can't just sit there and keep dreaming, because that will be a dream, not a business.
Absolutely.
So to make dreams a reality, you have to be proactive. You need to be proactive and knock doors, but not every door will open the first time. So you need to be persistent. And when I look back at my journey, I feel that these are the main, the 3 Ps, these are the main values that I live by, and the main success factors that always help me going, because entrepreneurship is not an easy journey. I mean, what you see is just the tip of the iceberg. And I can talk for myself. It was tough, and many times I reached the point where I felt I was going to drop the ball. But then again, I asked myself, why did I start? And I see that I didn't start because I just wanted to have to be financially independent or not to have a boss. I started because I want to leave a bigger impact than myself, and that puts me back on the right track. Actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
and to have a legacy at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
That's why we're all here.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit more about your relationship involvement with IWES, the International Women's Entrepreneur Society.
Yeah. IWES is one of those spaces that I love being part of and supporting, because it's driven by an individual who's so passionate. You can really tell that she is authentic and she is real about wanting to support. A lot of people create spaces probably for PR or just, why not have another network? But Khadila, when I met her, I could sense it. I could sense that energy is coming from something deep. And I respect that a lot, and I admire it. And that's why when we met, and I think when we met the first time, she was connected to me to invite me for their show that they had last year.
That's right.
And she invited me as a speaker. And when we met, I just felt, no, this is beyond just being part of this event and contributing with a message on stage. This is really about being part, because this is a space that really cares and that really wants to create opportunities for other women to succeed.
Absolutely.
And I'll be always there for them, because I'm aligned to their vision, and I love being part of spaces that want to give rather than just take.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's next for Hanane? What are your future plans? What's in the pipeline?
Well, I'm working on my own book, because I do write a lot of blogs. If you go to my personal website, it's just myfullname.com. You see a lot of blogs on leadership, on diversity, inclusion, change. And I've been pushed, because so many people keep telling me, I see a book in you. Since 5 years. And when I was invited to contribute to this Your Dose of Motivation, I felt it was a sign that, okay, now you need to write. So once I did that chapter, which was just one chapter, I said, you know what, I think this is time. So now I'm working on my own book, which is called Seeds of Change.
Beautiful title.
Yes.
Wow. Your titles are always very intense.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Hanane, I'd like to thank you for being on the show with us today. It's been a true pleasure talking to you and wishing you continued growth and success.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for hosting me.
It's a true pleasure. Thank you. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for. My name is Lara, signing off. Until next time.